My MacBook decided to go into activation lock, and my current password does not work. And as it is the only Apple device I own, I actually can't even do anything about it. I have to wait days for Apple to verify my identity before I can get back in. So, needless to say, I will be buying a Windows machine next. And unfortunately, I can't get the capture off the laptop for the screen cap, so we're kind of just screwed. But hope you enjoy the show anyways, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Welcome back to another episode of Brands Bites coming at you from the new studio. I think we might just start sticking with the same background color. I've been changing them every episode for no reason other than my own pleasure. But I like the blue and purple. I like the contrast that gives us here. And this time of day, other than the weird light coming in through the blinds, looks pretty nice. So I think we might try to stick with this setup for now. But getting into the episode, starting with our first topic, and possibly my favorite one of today, might I add, is Mr. Beast will be using Samsung Galaxy phones as official cameras for vlogging. Now, I should clarify, this isn't like he's only going to be using those cameras. There is going to be other cameras he uses, but Samsung and Mr. Beast have officially partnered up to promote the company's lineup of Galaxy devices, basically meaning Samsung was willing to fork over the money for this to actually occur. But going forward, the YouTube channel will use Galaxy devices for certain vlog-style shots where cameras aren't convenient. So that would make me think, instead of giving people GoPros when they're doing like hide and seek or whatever in like these giant stadiums, or they're touring these ships and they give everyone their own camera to kind of run around with, they'll be giving people Galaxy phones, which is interesting to see that Samsung is the company to step up and do this. I guess not like, it's not that out of the ordinary, I wouldn't say. Like, out of all the companies to do it, like Samsung, yeah, would probably be up there. I don't think you would ever see a company like Apple doing this, for instance. But interesting to see that Samsung is willing to spend the money on this. One of our main issues that, comes upon from this is the processing that Samsung does once a photo or video is taken. The inconsistency there is kind of interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see what these actually look like when these are in use with Mr. Beast and stuff. So even still, the vlog portion of the video is not all the videos, so there will be other things used. But Samsung notes the Galaxy S series, presumably the S23 Ultra, more often than anything else, will be used. The Z Fold 5 and Flip 5 will be used as the official mobile vlog device. So the folding lineup is actually like the concentration here, which is interesting. And the first video to showcase Samsung's phone included the Z Flip 5 and the S23 Ultra, and we find them strapped to a plethora of vehicles here. So the move between Samsung and Mr. Beast is a pure mobility gain, I guess, for Mr. Beast overall. But interesting that Samsung's willing to just send them these things. So the race here is the first video that you see them being used in. As you can see, they're obviously not using just phones for all of this, but they are using phones for some of it. As you can see, hooked up on the drone there, they had a phone. And it's very interesting to see a phone company. This is not a move I would have seen, I guess, is really what I should just be saying, is a partnership like this is much different than sponsoring just one video where you use the Samsung phones as the camera or whatever else. This is like a continuation, like it's going to continue happening throughout all of Mr. Beast's videos, which is awesome. Now, at the same time, the camera quality they're using most of the time at Mr. Beast's scale, they're not buying the highest end camera and having everyone followed by a camera operator. They're giving them individual cameras. So they were really only spending probably GoPro level money. So $400 or $500 on a camera for these guys to run around with. Now they're basically giving them $1,000 phones, which is interesting to see here. And it'll be interesting to see how these end up getting used in their production. If they end up liking this and they use these cameras for even more than the vlogging part, if they end up hating it and that's all they use it for, or whatever ends up happening. It's just fascinating to see, again, that this is the first time you're going to see a Mr. Beast video with a sponsorship that's like through multiple videos, not just like this is the sponsor of the video. Samsung here is just upfronting the phones. I don't know what the deal really looks like, but it's interesting to see. I think what we're seeing here is that companies are starting to realize the potential of sponsoring Mr. Beast, which is incredible. Next up here, we have Amazon's rumored home projector can turn anything into a screen. So this isn't out yet, just to clarify, but how a retractive smart display, map view, and robot vacuums could pull together Amazon's ambient smart home vision. So Amazon, as we all know, has the Amazon Alexa. They started doing Amazon Basics. They're just kind of getting into a little bit of everything, diversification, if you will. And with that, Amazon has gotten into screens and so on and so forth. Now, Amazon's first attempt at a smart projector, now discontinued, the Amazon Glow, wasn't awesome, hence why discontinuation. Now, that device was meant to be a kid's toy. Might have been better as a home control device. It was not awesome. But a small voice-activating detection device tucked under a kitchen cabinet could project your kitchen counter or wall when you need a recipe or to see your feed from your doorbell. Could easily be a cool way for Amazon to kind of bring this device back. Now, the device was an interactive projector where you could touch and move objects around on the screen. As you can see here on this, if you're not watching, basically it's like a little rectangle you stick on the wall. It shoots your video down onto your table in front of you, and then you can touch the table like those laser keyboards and interact with it, which if you ever use those laser keyboards, it wasn't that great. This here, though, is a Bosch unit that was moved 4 years ago that never actually made it out. But nonetheless, this is what seemingly Amazon's going for here. Now, Amazon has bought a lot of tech companies. They've built a ton of smart home stuff. They've even done smart projectors before. So we'll see what happens here. With this one, it's just interesting to see it rumored. As Amazon gets into everything, as these new tech products come out, fascinating to see that they're still trying. And it's good. They should keep trying. But we'll just see Amazon's smart home thing. They had Alexa take off, which, not that it shouldn't have, but Alexa took off. And then since then, it just feels like they haven't been able to hit the mark or figure anything out, or just, it feels like we're missing things. Like just something's missing to get Amazon that next step over to making these devices hit. Maybe it's just how big Amazon is. Maybe it's just how they work. It's one of those things where, like for me, for instance, I don't have a smart home setup, but something I have thought about as someone who's into tech is if I were going to, for one, I would look to make sure everything would work together well. And then to follow that up, I would be looking for devices that, hit all the points I wanted, like had good camera quality, worked every time, were consistent, were easy to use, didn't require certain like exact phrases to be said to get it to do things all the time. And Amazon just doesn't, there's no company that really offers the full suite, but in terms of how many things work together well with it, Apple has HomeKit that supposedly works really well. The limited use I've had with Google it's okay. It's not great. And Amazon, I just don't know if they really have all of it swinging in the right direction to make it great. But it'd be cool to see something like this. Now, I got to be honest, making Zoom calls that track you when you're walking around the house is kind of like, why can't you just sit still for your Zoom call? Pulling up recipes above a wall or on your stove while you're doing stuff, well, sounds super cool. I don't think we're at the point where technology is easy enough to make that something I would use on a daily basis. That said, it's something we'll just kind of have to see. Maybe some people will, but for me personally, I'm cool having my Google Smart Hub up there, yelling at it, having it pull stuff up. I don't need to have a separate thing that's projecting it for me. I can stare at the screen from 5 feet away and make out what my next step is or have it tell me, or just take a couple steps and read it. But again, maybe there will be some unforeseen use here that this is really cool for, or maybe this will just be the step to something bigger. But it's cool to see that it's coming possibly at some point. I mean, it should come. We should at least see what it can do. I don't know if it'll be used, but at least see what's going on. Now, next up here, X is just having a rough time in general. But since Elon bought Twitter, he brought paid subscriptions to the platform, which was kind of iffy at first and now kind of is cool. And now you can make money on the platform. So it's kind of all over the place, but they brought it here. And now social network Blue Sky once again benefited from Elon Musk's missteps with X. as he said that he would possibly be charging all X users a small monthly fee to use its services. This, I think, would pretty much kill the platform. Making people pay for a check mark, well, some people were going to be really against it. There's enough Elon people out there that were willing to do it. And I just don't see why. I don't think you're convincing everybody. I think it's interesting that Blue Sky is the company getting to see all the people move over, not Threads. You would seemingly, for some reason, think Threads would be the one to get more, but I think they released it too early. I think that app needed to be a little more finished before they pushed it like they did. That said, charging your users is wild and an interesting thing to do. So, Blue Sky saw record signups after Elon Musk announced his plans to charge X users, noting that Blue Sky saw a total of 53,585 new signups by the end of Tuesday, September 19th. That figure equates to roughly 5% of the user base of the platform, roughly 1.13 million accounts. Now, it's interesting, again, to see that happen. Android's app saw 500,000 daily active users by the end of the day on Musk's announcement, and its web traffic surged even higher. On Android, the metric was up 20.6% from the day prior. And, iOS is, good luck. We'll take a guess. I don't understand here. I understand the idea of we need to get rid of botting. We need to make things like that disappear. But I don't think this is your ticket, buddy. I think this is how you're going to kill the platform. If I'm completely honest, why would I pay for something that I can get most of that stuff for free somewhere else? And most people would switch to the free place. Because that's exactly why YouTube is the thing still. Or that's why all these companies that are free are the ones that gain users when you do this. It just, if I had to start paying for Twitter, I honestly probably wouldn't open the app ever again. And I've actually stopped opening it recently as well. I don't know. There's just something feels off. I just don't enjoy using it. But the Twitter clone from Meta also saw 8.3 million daily active users on September 18th, and that was roughly in line with the day before. So Meta not gaining very much, but 8.5 million is still 7 million more than Blue Sky. But I do think if you were to make everybody pay for Twitter, sure, a bunch of people would, and then I think all the people that want it for free would leave, and then other people would leave. And then either he goes back on it and maybe they come back, or they all move to a Threads or Blue Sky. Probably Threads. But nonetheless, he's had a bunch of interesting ideas. I think sometimes he says stuff like this out loud and then goes, let's see how the community reacts. And then he makes a decision from there. So this might not actually end up happening, but nonetheless, I saw this was anywhere from like a $2 to $1 payment, $3 maybe, something like that. Under $5 was the goal. And I just don't think it's going to happen. Next up, we're going to kind of rapid fire here because camera battery's flashing and I should have changed it. But Hyundai is going to be offering free home chargers and installed discounts for new EV buyers. So if you purchase or lease a Ioniq 5, Ioniq 6, a Kona EV by the end of October, Hyundai will provide a free home charger plus $600 towards your installation of that charger. Now, installations can probably run you around $1,500, so it's still not going to be cheap, but that does save you about $600 on a charger and then $600 off that, so you're at like a $900 charger, which for one adds value to your home, so that's actually pretty incredible. And I actually think this is a great way that more companies for longer than just a month should be doing these offerings, because I think a lot of people, whether you like it or not, don't like the idea of having to go somewhere to charge all the time. Having a charger at home is a big deal. Having one faster than your wall outlet is amazing and changes the game entirely. And again, you're adding value to someone's home, you're making it better, which is awesome. So this is something I would love to see stick around even longer, even if the car price doesn't have to go up. Maybe they don't change it at all. Maybe it sits there for a couple years and this is kind of just included in the price of the car, but you get it for free. It's free. And that's what makes people feel good. So the ChargePoint Home Flex Level 2 charger is what Hyundai offers on their home marketplace. The charger is currently listed at $549 and supports up to 50 amps, which gets you around 37 miles of driving range per hour charging, which again, massively more than if you were using just a normal home wall plug, which is a huge deal when we talk about EVs. The additional $600 installation credit only applies to services ordered through Hyundai's website. I honestly, if you're giving discounts like this, Who cares if it's through you, if that's what you need it to be, whatever. So if you purchased or leased a 2023, 2024 Hyundai Ioniq 5, same with the Ioniq 6, or a 2023 Kona EV from a participating dealership using Hyundai Motor Finance between 21st of September and October 31st, 2023, you'll receive this. You'll receive a coupon from Hyundai Motor Finance via email 10 days after lease or purchase. Be able to log in, select a charger, set up installation, and use the code. And again, I think this is an awesome way to make people want an EV because charging somewhere sucks. You don't always want to do that. And if you can get a home charger installed for like 900-ish bucks, I'm kind of guessing on that price. It might actually be less by the end of the day. I'm just kind of basing it off what I thought I saw Tesla's listed for, but that could be wrong. It might only be like a $300 or $400 install after this. Either way, if you can get someone with a home charger just set up, ready to go, the odds that I would buy an EV just skyrocketed because now I go from having to charge somewhere to maybe when I'm driving to my cabin or my lake home, maybe then I have to stop. But for that entire week, I just have to remember to plug in my car. No stopping anywhere, no going somewhere to juice up for the rest of the week, none of that. I'm ready to go. I'm set. Beautiful. And this is an awesome incentive to see a company putting out there. It'd be sick if the whole thing was free, but I get you may have to make some money to, stay viable. So makes sense, but super cool offering. And Hyundai actually has some of the better looking EVs out there. So, maybe it's worth looking into it a little bit. Next up is something that, is a little more on the scary side. So Cruise, if you don't know who they are, they make self-driving cars basically, or attachments, whatever you want to call it. And they would join the call to ban human drivers in city centers, says the CEO. This is a hot take at the moment. I think this is way too early to do, and nonetheless, a interesting thing to say as the CEO of a company. So Cruise vehicles get into 75% fewer collisions that could cause injuries. Now, I believe it was Cruise or some other electric vehicle company. I live in Austin, Tejas, and there was downtown road the other night blocked by a bunch of these vehicles. I don't remember if it was Cruise or not, but it was a self-driving company, and the road was basically gridlocked because of it. So there's that as well. Now, Cruise robotaxis have been involved in collisions and a fire truck, but haven't killed anyone yet. And part of these articles writing things like that is Cruise vehicles get into 75% fewer collisions that could cause injuries. A statistic that will only improve over the years. That's any self-driving car. From a safety perspective, I get it. I get the point. But I think the thing with banning people in city centers is kind of wild. Me, for instance, doing real estate photography, if I got to go downtown now, I'm just not allowed to drive down there, and I got to get all my, now I have to go rent one of your taxis. That's what you want to make me do. It's stupid. Your car should learn how to drive with human drivers on the road. So the question is interesting here. So basically what this guy said is if you extrapolate forward what you see in autonomous vehicles, decrease in costs, and they continue to improve their safety performance, they get much better at adapting in ways that find cities agreeable and preferable. You see more pooled rides, questions like, do you want as many human driver cars on our roads? And at what point does it make sense? Not yet. A genius. Now, if I told you 5 years from now, AVs are going to be 100 times safer, autonomous vehicles, in regions that have high pedestrian and cyclist traffic, it would almost seem reckless as a city planner. I get it. And I think from a business standpoint, this works great for him. I think from the rest of the world perspective, I still need to get places, buddy, where it includes going through the city, and I'm not adding an extra 20 minutes to my drive to drive a loop instead of straight through. Okay, like I was saying, I'm not driving a circle around the city to get to my spot. I'm driving straight through. You're not making me drive an extra 20 so that your company can make a little more money. I just want to get places. So with that, it's cool to see. Okay, I'll admit it's cool to think that we're this close to it happening. But I still think you're going to have to wait till everyone owns an EV, and then you're going to have to wait till all those EVs are self-driving. Just because your company and a few others are capable of this safer driving right now, I don't think we're as close. I think they always talk about the last 5 or 1% is what's going to take the longest. I think we're in that last 5 to 1%, where these autonomous vehicles, these electric vehicles that can self-drive, they're all right there. Tesla's right there. They're about to cross that finish line. They're at the last 5%, but there's just so many unknowns in that last 5% on how close you really are. Yeah, they drive safer. Yeah, they drive better, but they're not quite to where they need to be yet. And I think there's a good chance that it ends up just taking a little bit longer than people think it's going to. And with that, on to our last topic here. Amazon Prime Video, if you didn't know, is free with your Amazon Prime account, but will soon be coming with ads, or you can pay an extra $3 a month to dodge them. So if you, this is not that, shocking to me. If you are unaware, with your thing of Amazon Prime, you get a lot of stuff. Not only do you get free 2-day shipping on almost everything on Amazon that you would possibly want to order in a reasonable amount of time, you get Prime Music, you get Prime Video, you get a free Twitch Prime sub, you get, I think there's a couple other things that I can't remember off the top of my head. Basically, you get a lot of awesome stuff for actually not that big of a price. And streaming services are quickly realizing that, $13 a month isn't enough to make money, which isn't that shocking to me. So Amazon here is slowly learning that Amazon Prime is maybe a little too good. And in light of actually just taking it away from you, they're just going to give you ads, which actually sucks. It sucks. I'll give you that. It's something you've had for a while. It's not, it's not ideal. It's something you had for free. You would think it would stay that way. But out of all the ways they could handle this, just adding in some ads in there or making you pay an extra $3 is actually not the worst thing. So with that said, Disney Plus, let's talk about them for a second here, will begin charging $13.99 a month in the US for ad-free. Disney Plus in mid-October, 75% more than the ad-supported services. Netflix is already charging $16 per month for its ad-free plan. I don't remember that long ago when it was $10 for that. So as talked about, all these streaming companies are realizing to either create your own content or keep up with new content, it costs a lot of money. And we're starting to see it change a little bit here. So that sucks, but also credit where credit's due. $3 isn't too bad on top of your Amazon Prime subscription when how good of a deal it really is. I think how much shipping costs on some of your things that you get off eBay or something like that. Like, you order 10 things, you've paid back your Amazon Prime subscription. Like, it's not... Trade-off here ain't too bad, Holmes. So just take what you can. Again, not an awesome move by Amazon, but not too bad. Especially with Amazon not actually going to change the price of the Prime membership next year. But it does plan to announce, the ad-free programming for countries. So yeah, expect that to come soon. I don't think it's that bad for the price still. YouTube TV is $75 a month. Prime's double that, and you still get Amazon Prime. It's not live TV, but you get plenty of content on there, so sucks, but probably not the worst. It's hard to side with Amazon, but I think here we can side with Amazon safely. And with that, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Sorry for the battery dying. I should be on top of that, I guess. And with that, I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.